Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I'm going to be doing my May TBR. So most of these books, let me pull up my list because I have quite a list. I always have quite a list, to be honest. I mostly will be talking about the books that I want to read for the Mafia readathon that is being hosted by all of our booktubers. I will be doing a reading vlog for this just because I've been wanting to do a Mafia romance reading vlog for a minute, but Jen from the book Refuge really came through and did this readathon, so what better way than to do it. I will link all of these booktubers down below in the description box for you guys. It goes from May 4th to the 7th. May 4th starting today. I'm excited to choose my first book for this. And basically, I'm just so excited because I've been wanting to be in my Mafia era for a while, as well as I chose most of these Mafia books because they are all going to be at Book Bonanza. I'm going to be trying to read as many Book Bonanza authors from May all the way to the end of June when Book Bonanza is. So yeah, so my TBR is mostly this Mafia readathon books as well as Book Bonanza authors. I made this list on Amazon, but there are so many books and so many authors that I will most likely 100% not get to all of them before Book Bonanza, but I'm glad to have this list. But we would be here forever if I went through that list. So just know if it's a Book Bonanza author, I will most likely try and read one of their books. Anyways, I've been rambling for so long. Let's get into it. So one of the prompts on the Mafia readathon is a host rec. For this one, I chose Ruthless Stranger by Maggie Cole. This is the first book in Maggie Cole's series. I believe it's like a war something series. It is her Mafia War series. This is the book 1. All I know about this one is that our hero and our heroine actually get together, but the heroine is like blindfolded and she never actually gets to see our hero. And then she hears his voice somewhere and she instantly recognizes him, or he hears her voice. Well, I mean, he knows what she looks like, kind of, because she's blindfolded. I don't know. But that's kind of like the premise, and it's a Mafia, and it is a host rec from Jen from the book Refuge. Next prompt is Russian. For this one, I want to read The Professional by Cressley Cole. Cressley Cole is actually not going to be at Book Bonanza, but it is a book that I want to reread. I've read this one so many times. It's one of my favorites, and it is a Russian one. I want to get the paperback. I want to reread it, get the paperback so that I can annotate it. Next prompt is Italian Mafia. So for this one, I did Heart of a Monster by Shane Rose, the New Reign Mafia romance. This is her most recent release, I believe. Yeah, the blurb doesn't really give much. It says, I'm about to hand my heart to a monster. Let's see if he'll rip it apart. Angsty, steamy, and a Mafia romance. So yeah. Then for Irish Mafia, I have Devil of Dublin by B.B. Easton. This one has actually been on my radar. A lot of booktubers that I watch have read this book, and some have loved it and some have not, but I've mostly leaned towards more people have loved it. And I love the alternate cover for this. The man cover, like, he's not my type of man, so it's not my favorite, but I've heard really good things. Obviously dark Mafia romance, and it is Irish romance. All I know about this one is that the hero, I believe he has like an abusive upbringing, but he like sees our heroine like when they were younger, and like they play with each other like in the forest or something. He like grows older and he's obsessed with her something. I'm doing so bad at describing these, but it sounds good and I've heard good things. For Mexican / cartel Mafia, I have Violent Delights by Jessica Hawkins. Jessica Hawkins is actually going to be at Book Bonanza, and so it is the perfect time for me to reread this trilogy because I remember when I first read it, I gave them all 5 stars or 4 stars, and I've been wanting to reread it for a long time, and so I put it on here. I'm excited to get into it. For the prompt Mafia in the title, I have Mafia Bride by C.D. Reese. This one is actually in my Kindle library, and it's like way down below in my Kindle library. I don't know much about this one, but I believe it's free, and I think it is still free to download because it's like the first book in a series. Oh, it's not free no more, but it was free because I know for a fact that I didn't pay $5.99 for the ebook. But yeah, it was a free at some point, so I downloaded it, and it had Mafia in the title. title, and I decided to do that one because I think C.D. Reese is also going to be at Book Bonanza. So then I have Cruel in the title. I have Cruel Obsession by J.L. Beck and C. Hallman. Then I have Arranged Marriage / Forced Marriage. For this one, I have Savage Beginnings by J.L. Beck and C. Hallman. I've actually been reading a lot of novellas by J.L. Beck and C. Hallman, whether together or individually, and I like their smut. The writing isn't my favorite. Sometimes, especially on the J.L. Beck side, it seems a little bit like unhinged, but overall all of their books are unhinged and like crazy heroes and like smutty dirty talk kind of books, but I want to give her their like fuller length novels a chance. Then for Tattooed Hero, I have Perfect Villain by J.L. Beck and S. Rena. The cover of this one, like, I live for. This is why I put it for Tattooed Hero, because he has tattoos on the cover, but like I also love the cover. This is a dark stalker mafia romance. That's all I needed to know. For a new to me author, I put Taken by a Sinner by Michelle Hurd. Michelle Hurd was popping for a while there for her Mafia series, and I had been seeing it around when it was popular on BookTube, and I just added it to my TBR, but I just never got around to it, and it was brought to my attention again from Jen from the book Refuge, because she's reading a Michelle Hurd for her Mafia TBR, and so I pulled her up, and then I seen the cover, and I was like, oh, I remember this is on my TBR, so I ended up adding that one for new to me author, because I have never read anything by Michelle Hurd. Then for next in series, I have Forgivable Sins by Adelaide Forrest. If you guys saw my wrap up, you guys know that I didn't like Bloodied Hands by Adelaide Forrest, but Forgivable Sins is the second book in that series. I do want to continue. I just am hoping and praying that the second book is better. I need it to be better, and I think it's gonna be better. Then for audio, I have Ruthless Creatures by J.C. Geisinger. I actually have this book as an audio, so that's why I added it on there, because it's the only Mafia one that I have that is on audio that I own. This would actually be a reread as well for me. We'll see if I get to it. It's really hard for me to get into audios. Then for Blood on the Cover, I have Raw by Belle Aurora. Actually pretty sure that the Mystic Box, one of the Mystic Box that I'm getting, this is the book for it, and I actually have not read it, and I pulled up the cover and it has blood on it, so that's why it's on there. Then for Royalty and Title, I have Reckless Air by Jenica Snow. This is actually the second book in her Mafia series. I don't know if heir, like H-E-I-R, counts for royalty, but like if it's a king or queen, they have to have an heir, and it's like a royalty. So you know what? I'm counting it because I also want to continue this series. So I'm excited for that one. Then for outside of USA, I have Lord of London Town by Tilly Cole. This one is not high on my Mafia TBR because I read the synopsis and it didn't really pull me in, but for this prompt, this book fits, so I added it on there. For oldest Mafia in my library, I have Confess by Isabella Starling, because I remember going through all of them, but listen, yeah, this is the oldest one I have, whether it was in my Kindle library or in my Amazon Kindle Unlimited list. This is a dark mafia priest romance. For this one, I actually have for 2 prompts. It is the oldest mafia in my library, and it is a captor-captive. I'm not 100% sure whether it is a captor-captive, but let me read you guys the blurb. It says, "My name is Amadeo da Costa, but you will call me father." It says, Carlota Tomasi is a spoiled mafia princess. She has everything brought to her on a silver platter. Now she must pay for her sins. Every single one of them, even if she didn't commit them herself. It's time to confess, little sinner, and Father does not forgive. Confess is a full-length novel with a dirty priest straight out of your fantasies or nightmares. This is a captive, dark mafia standalone romance novel, and it's only 213 pages. I think this one will be really fun. I've never read anything by Isabella Starling before, but it had me at priest and it had me at captive. Those are all the ones that I have from the Mafia readathon that I want to get to, maybe. I don't know how many books. There's only like, what, 3-4 days of this readathon, so I don't know how many I'm going to be able to read. But anyways, I also want to read Grim and Barrett by Juliet Cross. This one actually comes out May 9th. But before I read that one, I have to read Resting Witch Face. So those are both on my May TBR. I'm excited for those. You know when you know you're going to love a book and you put it off? That's how I'm feeling about the Stay a Spell series, just because those are the last 2 books in that series. So sad. I also want to read King of Pride by Anna Huang. This actually came out in April and I just didn't get to it, but it's high on my TBR. I definitely want to get to that. I also want to get to Dangerous Innocence by Coral Riley. This is going to be another mafia series by her. And then I also want to get to Liars Like Us by JT Geisinger. That one I know comes out on the 25th, I believe, of May. And it's JT Geisinger. I will read anything and everything that she comes out with. Those are all the books that I have on my May TBR. Let me know a book that you guys are super excited for here in May. And again, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you guys in my next one. Bye, guys.